Okie dokie. Today I'm going to make a soap called Tythe Barn, and this is a new one for autumn, and it's a blend of like apple strudel with those nice pie spices, like very autumnal, and then I'm mixing it with a hay fragrance. So just think autumn, apples, damp air, hay. It's not really got damp air in it, but it's got that feel. So the blend, let me just have a sniff. It's like, yeah, like a really, really good, strong apple pie scent with the pie spice. And then sort of like that hay, like a nice sort of grassy hay sort of scent. So it's just lovely. So like a late summer, early autumn sort of blend. And in this one, I've just decided, I want something sort of wholesome. So in the base, I'm going to use some ground up hibiscus flowers. And in the top, I'm going to use ground up lavender flowers, but I'm not going to do a line between the two. So the hibiscus is kind of like reddish, if you can see that. And then the lavender's obviously like got a slight bluish hue. So the two contrasts. It should be quite nice in the soap if I can get enough in there. I don't want this to be too scratchy though, so hibiscus, you need to be careful with that because it's pretty scratchy. So I'm going to try and get as much of the finer powder out of this as I can. So that's what I'm going to do anyway. And then we'll just do like a regular top. So I don't know whether this is going to accelerate because the apple note that I've used has accelerated before, I think. So I need to be careful because I'm doing a water discount as usual. So I'm just going to get gloved up and goggled up and then we'll begin. Okay, so let me just grab my stick blender and my oils. Put those to the side. Okay, so on the window here today, it says filming in progress. I'll reopen shortly. And I think people think I'm on TV. Which in some homes I may be, but through YouTube, you know. So they're all like, some people are walking past the window and like looking like as if there's like a film crew. Little do they know, it's just me with the camera. People are weird, aren't they? Think they're going to be on television. And they ain't. Okay, let's get this stick blended then. Okay, so I want to pour off some. It doesn't have to be perfect, these layers, because it just doesn't. But kind of want to get it. I really don't like this bowl for pouring at all. This is one I got from Hobbycraft. Okay, so let's get some hibiscus in the vase. I'm just going to stir that in a sec. So it's going to be a pretty plain bar. Oh, they smell nice, those flowers. What might be a bit nicer is if I put the tiniest bit of mica in there to just get a reddish hue. So I'm going to use this one, which is called Bordeaux from Mica Mama. And I've been using this one recently. It's a really nice colour. So I'm just going to put the tiniest bit, just to see if I can get a slight pink hue. But I don't want it to take over, you know, and be like a really strong colour. So let me see. Tiny bit more. I mean tiny, like literally a sprinkle. There we go. More like a rosy pink. Okay. Put that away. And then for the lavender portion I could always use a little bit of, what have I got here? I'll use a little bit of my black grape mica from Mica Mama as well for the lavender portion. Just give it a slight hint of lavender. So let's just put a bit of that in this side. That's my fragrance blend. Oh Lord, that smells good. Oh, that's lovely. Just smells really autumnal and cosy, and it's a rainy day today, so all the better. I'm just going to stick blend it in a bit. Okay. I'm just going to pour that in to the mould. God, that smells really nice. Like really, really, really nice. So the majority of this bar will be that colour because I've only poured off a little bit for the lavender bit. The lavender portion rather. So yesterday, I haven't told you anything about this week, I just forgot. I recently had contact with a place called Gordon Russell Design Museum, and they have opened a museum in Broadway, which is just 5 miles up the road from me, so it's like the start of the Cotswolds is Broadway. And they got in touch with me about stocking my soap, and they were looking for local artisans, and they wanted some nice products for their shop, which is called Plain and Soar. So they took some of my batches that I'd got in stock, and I also made a bespoke bar for them, which I may have shown on video, I can't remember. Anyway, we called it Plain and Soar. So yesterday, just going to give that yeah. Yesterday I went up to deliver their batch because it was ready, and I got invited to go and look around the museum, and it was really, really good. So I'm just putting my lavender, my dried lavender, ground up lavender flowers in here, sorry. Yeah, so I had an opportunity to go and walk around the museum with this really nice lady that works in there to show people, and I learned loads and loads. It's all about the arts and crafts movement, and Gordon Russell was one of the guys at the forefront of that movement, and he was a designer for furniture. He didn't make bits, but he had men to make his designs for him. And just a minute. Sorry. So yeah, so I got invited to go and have a look around, and it was really, really good. They got this cabinet in there called the Paris cabinet. If you Google the Paris cabinet Gordon Russell, you'll see. And they got the actual cabinet in the museum, and it was just amazing. And they let me go and see what it was all like, and oh God, there's another piece of furniture in there that was made for a friend of Gordon Russell's. I can't remember who the guy was, but he made it for it, like to make him like a place where he could keep his hat, and he got a top hat, and in the front of the cabinet is this little square box that just held his hat, and the lady opened up the drawers of the furniture so I could smell the cedar, because it was made of cedar. Oh my God, it was just amazing. But when the furniture was made, it was to help people in the war years have things in their homes that were affordable, you know, and lots of it made out of old scraps of old furniture and things like that. That's what, and it's just beautiful. Just so clever and so intricate, and then all on every single piece of furniture was the names of every man that worked on each piece. So Gordon Russell always liked to do that, so that every man got a mention for having worked on each piece of furniture. It's just, you know, it's just a lovely, lovely man. But he did try his hand at, he used calligraphy, he did stonemasonry, and just had a go at everything, you know. And I thought, how wonderful would it be to have time to mess like that, you know, like this. I was saying to the lady, like in this day and age, we just don't really have like time to play like that, and like anything you want to try your hand at. I mean, we do have time, you have to make time, but maybe, you know, these days I was saying you need to be quite moneyed. I'm just going to pour the top of this on now. You need to be quite moneyed in order to be able to afford to spend time, you know, messing and making and doing all the things you want to try, really. So I really enjoyed it anyway. There was a bit she showed me in the ceiling of these little black aeroplanes that these ladies from the war years had made in the shape of the enemy warplanes. So obviously when you look up in the sky to see which plane was coming over, you only got like a black shadow. So they built these little planes so to mimic the enemy plane, so that when you looked up they knew whether it was an enemy or not. And these little planes were hanging in the ceiling in there. I was just learning so much, I was taking it all in, and there's like all these folders upstairs where you can sit and go through them all, so I'm going to do that, and then there might be another soap inspired by that kind of thing, you know. But oh god, I was in heaven. The smells in there, like you go upstairs, it's only a small little museum, but when you go upstairs you can smell the wood, and oh, I was beside myself. It helped that the lady was so nice that showed me around. She was really, just really nice, and we had a nice time. So yeah, that's what I did yesterday afternoon, and they were really happy with the soap that I made. I only did it as a trial just to see if I could get a scent. They wanted like a sawdust scent to smell like the workshops, you know, and I just did a one-off and just had a go, and they really liked it, so that was good. And yeah, I had a really nice time in there, so I'd like to go back and see what I can find, because there was a diary that he'd kept, and it was like locked in a cabinet, but his calligraphy work was just mind-blowing. It's just beautiful, and I love that sort of thing, where somebody's immersed in their craft. Is just, well, like us soap makers really, like, you know, similar type of thing. It's a craft, and it's something that you can immerse yourself in and really enjoy yourself if you've got time and no interruptions to do it. And yeah, it's all relative. I feel incredibly lucky to be able to do this for a living, you know. Don't get me wrong, it can be difficult at times, but really overall we're privileged to be soap makers in this day and age and make a living. It's not easy, but that's how I see it. Anyway, I'm just going to flip this over on the top a little bit, and I might just put a few sprinkles down the centre of this one. Certainly does smell very wholesome and lovely. Loving that. Okay, what can we use? What can we use? I've got so many up on this shelf. I'm always having a look to see what we could do. I think we'll carry on with the hibiscus theme and put some dried hibiscus flowers. I've got a big jar of them here, so we'll just take a few and we'll just sprinkle them over the top. Or, hold on, if I mark out, let me just grab a bar of soap, and I'll mark out my, go that way around, mark my mould so that I can put one on each section rather than sprinkling down the side this time. It's just that hibiscus can quite easily get stuck when you're trying to cut the next day, so I mean you'll end up pinging off on the wires. So if I put them through each soap like this, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Just add a nice little touch to each bar. rather than regular old rose petals. You know, I love roses and rosebuds, but sometimes it's nice to do a little something different. Okay, so there we go, there is Tythe Barn, and I'll be back to cut that one and see how it turned out. It'd be pretty subtle, but you know, might be quite nice. So there we have it. Sorry about the colouring, like the colour of the film today, because I've got the overhead light on because it's so dull outside and I've needed to get as much light in as I can, so it might look a bit orangey. Anyway, I'll be back for the cut of this one later. Okay, let's move on to Tythe Barn. So this one looks kind of pinkish on the top, so I don't know whether the colour contrast is, oh, it might be different. I did two different light, oh yeah, it's kind of, God, I did use quite a lot of that mixture for the base. I wanted it really to be half and half, but it looks quite nice, doesn't it? Like that, kind of like that. But I did want half and half, but kind of cocked that up. So, let's see. Oh, that smells really good. It just smells like just autumn. It just smells lovely, just proper autumn. Oh lordy, that's nice. That is nice. So let's see what we got. This is for the customers who like really natural soaps. So yeah, it's going to be pretty basic, I think. But it's nice all the same. Yeah, it's very wholesome looking, isn't it? It's a nice natural vibe with this one, which is always nice. I think sometimes when you're scrolling through Instagram and you see all these different coloured soaps and all these weird and wonderful designs and things like that, sometimes you come back to these really nice earthy soaps, and sometimes you're just like, oh, you know what I mean? It sort of makes you think, oh, a nice natural soap, or like an uncoloured soap I really like, and just to see texture, like that kind of texture on the top. I just really like pictures like that, like nice, soft, serene. It's just nice, you know, like it's just nice. It's like it brings you back to your roots a bit. And I think most of us, when you start making soap, I mean maybe not now, but in my day when I started making soap, I think we all wanted to do those natural looking bars, and you know, the wild bars of soap were not quite, but I mean, you know, people were designing different bars of soap and things like that, but it's not like today. So not like all this piping and all these colours going on the top, and you know, everybody had themed soaps and things like that, but it was not quite as bright and wild as it is today. Like, and there's so many soap makers. I just cannot get over how much this business has grown, you know. Not mine, I mean like the soap making in general. I just cannot get over how many soap makers there are. It's like when I started, there was obviously a lot, and a lot that were undiscovered and never seen, but it's, I guess, since Instagram and all of that, so now you get to see who's out there more, because when I started there wasn't really even YouTube. I think I did a YouTube video and put it on my blog, and people were like, I didn't get comments or anything like that. It's like people were like, what, you must have been thinking, what's she doing? Because it was all about writing a blog, it wasn't about video at the time. And I started doing videos, and I think it wasn't, that's about, I might have to chop that up. It wasn't as well received back then. I mean, we're talking early 2000s, and it just wasn't a massive thing. I think people were like, they didn't like it. Lots of people didn't like it. And when Facebook became a thing for business as well, everyone was like, I'm not doing Facebook. And it was like, well, if you don't do it, you're going to be left behind, because that's where business is going. I mean, if only we'd known. You know, I stopped doing YouTube for a while, because I just had enough of doing it, and it took a lot of effort to do it, and there was no money in it. You know, there was no AdSense and things like that. It's just completely different. It was just a bit of fun, and it was a nice way to show what you do. And I met lots of new soap makers that weren't, well, wrote blogs, but you know, it's strange because, yeah, things just changed so drastically with video, and like even people like Anne-Marie, they weren't making video, like, and then all of a sudden everybody starts making video, and I backed off. I thought, I don't want to do this. I'm so stupid. I could have been making millions by now. But yeah, I stopped YouTube just because it wasn't well received by other makers, and actually I think the customers probably really appreciated it, but other makers were like, it's an iffy subject. I think a lot of people didn't like it when I first started doing them. It was just like, oh, you know, now the mystery is no longer a mystery of who these people are behind a blog, you know. And at first I don't think it was, that well received. I think some people liked it, and some people started to do video, and YouTube just became this place where I just knew a few, and I still watch some of the people that were there in the beginning, but everyone seems to scatter to the winds now, so there's lots of new people. So there's loads and loads of people to watch if you want to watch soap making, but I mean, a lot of the time I don't even watch soap making on here. I watch, like, I don't know, all sorts of different things, conspiracy stuff. I like makeup and all that kind of stuff, just daily drivel, you know. So I watch a few soap makers, but not that many. Okay, so here is Tythe Barn, there. I'm going to trim all that up, and then I'm going to go home and see what we're going to be doing today. If we're going to be going out anywhere, or if we're just going to go to sleep. Right, I'll see you soon. Ta-ta.